All right, hiya plastic people. Welcome to today's stream. So today we're going to do the AB drive and idler system and hopefully get through to the uh, linear rails for the Z-axis or Z-axis depending on where you're at. Try to get that far at least, but we're definitely going to get through the AB drive and idler. Want to get that knocked out today. I've got most of the parts sitting out. I'll have to dig out the fasteners and screws, and we'll go ahead and get started on those. So you can see I've got the picture here up. I've already gotten all of the heat sets in, I believe, every piece that needs them except for the Nomi specific stealth burner and clockwork 2 parts. Now that I've printed those out, I do need to put a few heat sets in those. Once I get those done, those will be ready, so I'll get those done in the interim. I've got the linear rails cleaned except for the x-axis. They just need to be lubed, and I've got them drying from the alcohol in the bathroom right now. I just took them and put them in a shallow tub of alcohol to clean off the shipping grease, and I've got a tube of grease in there to squirt in them, so we can go on and get those done hopefully. So let's see, I've got the heat set there. Let's find these M5 nuts and get them in these. See which one's going to work better. Now it seems like the stream cam is the darker. Last night the Nikon was darker. Today the stream cam is darker. Let's see if I can get that changed a little bit. Maybe bring it up. Still a little on the dark side, but I think we'll be all right. We've got plenty of light in here. So the two that we're looking for right now are these here. Both of them are here. So let's see if we can find the M5. Those are these are natural and these are white. You can just see a difference. Putting them up against the blue isn't as much, but those are for the rails so we can get them aligned correctly. To M5 hex nuts, and if I remember right, they're really loose, and it's not calling for the screws yet, but that's okay. I've got super glue. Just a little dab in there should work to get it to hold those nuts in. If I can get the top off. Or maybe we don't have super glue. The top won't come off, we can't use it. But I've got some rapid fuse. This should work just as well. All it needs to do is hold the nut in here. Does not need to do a whole lot else. Just don't want to put too much in there or now you got to clean out threads. I'm trying to get just a tiny little drop. I don't think it'll come through, but just a tiny little bit. Again, just enough to hold the nut in. If I can put it in the right hole, it'll work out even better. Let that dry, and that'll hold the nuts in there. And then we can move on from there to the next set. So next we'll be doing the bearing stack, shim bearing, bearing shim. So that's going to be the bearing. So I'm going to need 2 per idler, along with 2 shims per idler. So I'll need 4 of those plus the 2 helpers in the M540s. So M540s. Here, I should be fine with 2 of those. That way they can hold together. While I wait, and then I need M5 shims and F695 bearings. M5 spacer. I do not see M5 shim, so guess it will be this one here, and then I need to find where I put the bearings. Do not see them up here. They must be in my container underneath. And I've just got containers full of all the stuff. Bearing. Oh nope, that's not the bearings. That's the idler, or the gears for the hot end. There's the bearings. And we will need these as well. So while I'm in here, might as well grab them. Make sure there's nothing else that we're likely to need. At least for now. And I did get the heat sets in the fans as well, so those are ready to go when we get to that step. That's a good ways off. But everything's in a bin, so I can just reach down, grab it, and get what I might need. Let's see if we can get one of these out at a time. There we go. F695 RS. We need 2 for them. All right, so go back to the here and see how we're doing that. I think it might be better here. So here we've got this. That'll go through. Shim. Bearing. Bearing. And shim. And make sure your bearings are to where the flanges are opposite. That way the belt can ride in the middle. And then this will get just capped on top. And my tolerances are pretty good, so they just snap together pretty nicely. And the same goes for this one. There we go. So that one's done too. And then that should just snap together nicely again. And all these parts were printed on my Prusa Mark 3S with a BMG extruder set up. All right, so there is those. All right, so now it shows, take another M440. And our idler here, and this one is going that way. You want to make sure your holes line up. They show pushing it through, but that just slipped right out of there. So this one's going to go that way. So I need to have okay, so I see kind of how they want to go in about that. And I'm going to go this side for this one. Get your, slide that as far out of the way as you can. And we'll do that. Try to keep it level. Oh, and my nut fell out. So the glue did not hold that as well as I was hoping. Kind of remember this being a little fiddly on the 2.4 as well to get these lined up the way you needed to. Let's go to, I know they say to use the M5s, but I might have a little more play with the M3s. So let's change over to that. Thank you, Warfox Sergey, and welcome. I remember it being fiddly on all the Vorons I've built actually, so the just takes a little working to get it to go in there. I got it lined up. I've got my idler lined up. Well, hey, I need an M340 anyway. And there went that one. Well, it's just falling all apart. I remember having an easier time of this with my 2.4 though. It was fiddly, but I remember an easier time. I'm gonna need these. One more of those. Hopefully they gave some extras on the parts. I haven't counted. I just left everything in the bags, so did not count them up to see. I love how they show it, but that's just not wanting to play nice the way. So, washer, bearing, bearing, washer. There we go. And I need to get my nut driver. So we can, well, that one might not be the right size. That's the biggest one of those that I've got. I guess if I put the camera on, you guys might be able to see. These will come in handy for that. There we go. So now we've got nice and easy slide. Now we can put this in. Just get it to bite just a little bit. And that's one done. So it's still sliding nicely, not too tight. Now we need to do the next one, which is already together. I just need to do the real fun part with it. And I do believe that it worked better with this thinner one that would just kind of drop right out of there. once this was in. So that should go that way. We make sure that our holes are lined up. And that'll drop straight out. And hopefully I didn't move it too much, and this will just drop. Nope. It can't go that easy both times, can it? Not the way it works. Okay. And if you hear snoring in the background, Tiffany is laying under the table next to me, or close to me underneath the desk. And she's quiet every time except for when she's sleeping. Or there's a raccoon in the backyard. She'll bark at them. All right. Can't quite tell, but it looks like I might have lost that washer. Oh, that one looks like it went in the wrong way. That might work out if I can get the stack in there. Maybe put this in. All right. I need more practice at this, I guess. Morning, Dat Mammoth. How are you this morning? All right. What I'm going to try to do is get this on slip that M3 out and then slip the M3 back up through my nut. Then I can push the M3 out with the M5. I think that will hopefully help. I know the manual says to use an M5 as the placeholder and then M5 as the to push it through, but it's fiddly enough with the M3. And I'm having a much worse time than I was expecting to have with these. Hopefully it doesn't go this bad on the drive sections. This is not going all that well. Well, hopefully all the chat and that is set up well. I tried to get it going correctly so that we could have, you know, chat for everybody to see. And it, even though it's kind of sort of behind me, it's at least somewhat easy for me to get to and look at it. Still trying to get a good setup. That works for me and can work for everybody, you know, watching. And I got to work on the camera. This room is the computer room and the home theater room and the printer building room and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So it's a little packed in here. And then the dog just goes wherever she decides she wants to go. Right now she's sleeping underneath the Nikon. And all right, that time I got it. So just got one last, I think just got the last washer to get through here. See, it's not a total pain, just mostly pain. And we still have good motion. Let's get our M3 in. And all I'm doing with these M3s is getting them into the heat set just so they're just coming out the back side of it. Just want a little bit, I don't want anything coming out of the heat set. I just want it at the very edge of that heat set. That way it's ready to just thread in and tighten up at the end when we get to the belt. So there we go. Now we got good motion on that one. Good motion on this one. So those can go over here and sit out of the way until we need them. Howdy, Maker Viking. How are you today? All right. So that's both of those. Check your work. Let's see. That looks good there. And that one looks good there. And hopefully the lighting's good enough to get in there and see it for you guys. My M5s are not too tight. I have seen, I think I did that once on the 2.4 when I was building it, where I over tightened those M5s and it just did not want to slide. So let's go back here. All right, I need M5 by 30s. And I need 2 of them and the piece with the cutout, which is this one here. Or is it that one? This piece. The one with the, so that would be this piece here. That matches. All right. 2 M530s. And this is my first Trident, even though my salad fork is just a small Trident. We'll see how it's doing. I'm doing pretty good today. Waiting on the rain to show up. It is supposed to get pretty bad at times, but I'm hoping it doesn't get too awful bad here. If it does, Comcast, Xfinity can sometimes be not the greatest in those situations. But even more important would be if it gets real bad, the dog has some issues with those kinds of things. So we'll meet it if it comes. All right, so flip this in the same orientation. It makes it easier. They call these M5 spacers instead of shims, but same thing. So of course, shim, bearing, bearing, shim. Shim, bearing, bearing, shim on this one. So that should take care of that. I don't know which camera is better, that one or this one. For some reason this is just really dim, even with the stream light shining like right down on this marble tile. So we've got those in, And we're shim, bearing, bearing, shim, shim, bearing, bearing, shim, shim, bearing, bearing, shim, and our bearings are in the right orientation. So next I need the other piece with the cutout, and it shows that it is going in the, that these M5s are just going to screw straight into plastic, and I can get it in there and tighten it down. And of course those are the smaller. See if my M3 will work. There we go. Let it catch that plastic, and I'm just going to tighten it till it's right there, right on the, touching the top plastic. For some reason this doesn't look, I guess it's okay. Oh, that belt's going to run there, that's why. Alright. Same with this one, just tighten it down just till it touches that top, because you don't want them to be too tight. So, there we go, that's in. So there's that one. Set it aside, let's make sure. It's been real dry here too. I'm so happy for the rain. My garden has needed it without me having to run out there and run the sprinkler all the time. All right. So let's get thread locker. Did I change? I did. Get my thread locker out. I need a 20-tooth pulley. And I probably ought to just pull out my Allen's. That way, if whatever size I need, I've got it. Rather than having to go each time into my desk drawer and grab it out. I'm trying to stay as organized as I can. These should be the smaller. Maybe the 2. All right, so these are 2 mil. And maybe I'll get down below the top. That I have yet to actually screw that thing up. It was almost touching the bottom of the cap when I got that stick. And of course, there's just so much in there, and you need so little. That thing will probably outlast me. Even my little tube of liquid probably outlast me. All right, so this one is going with the gears up. Get one of them on that flat. Tighten it down just enough to know that I'm on the flat. And this is the A. There we go. Get it snapped in, and then that's on the wrong camera. Let's go to that right. So that's in there. I just snapped it in there so that it's holding it up, so I can just reach in here and tighten that one down. That is the one on the flat. And then let's tighten this one down. There we go. All right. So there is that. And then it does say here on the instructions to be careful of where the wires exit. So we'll make sure that they go to the extruder, although I think I've seen like the LDO kit tends to flip them the other way so that they're going inside, and I kind of like that orientation better than going out. Of course, that's also on the 2.4, I believe, so let's follow the manual. I can always flip them if I absolutely need to. So let's do that one. That will go that way. And then M3 by 30, I need 3 of those. Oh. And those should all be the 2.5, I believe. Yeah. All right, so those will go in here. And I think I've still got my M3 reamer if I need to ream any of these out. They don't need to thread into the plastic. So, got the reamers from KB3D and just a cheap pin vise here from Amazon. I 3D printed one and it just wasn't very good. So this one works great. Seems to hold the bits well. I've also got a set of metric drill bits that I can put in here if I need to use something a little more aggressive than this reamer. There we go. Put those back in the tray so I'm not grabbing the wrong one. Yeah, those little reamers from Chris at KB3D have come in very handy over time. Let's go to that one. And again, I'm just making sure it gets seated into the motor, and then these I'm just going to tighten down. I guess I could use my unsponsored LTD screwdriver. Maybe like Nero, I need to get with Linus and say, sponsor me. Give me an affiliate link or something. I'll say I've never liked a ratcheting screwdriver, but I actually do find myself grabbing that one more often than not. It's just with these things here, these are already, you know, they're marked to the right size. I just know which one I need. I just grab it. It's a lot easier than having to switch out bits. So I like that thing, and yeah, it'd probably be nice to have that ratcheting here instead of the old way, but yeah, these work, and I don't have to swap out the bits all the time. So that is through to there. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this. So you can see if it'll focus. Let's go to the other one. My gear and my top pulley here line up, which is what we should be seeing. So we're good on that one. Should be. So now we move on to the next one. And we need M530s, 2 of them. And that should be this one here and this one here. And then of course we're going to be doing a shim and a shim. Get our bearings out. Bearing, and it's not in the best spot. I can see it's behind the the chat. And shim, and then bearing, shim, another shim, and then our next bearing stack, and our last shim. There we go. These can go back in the little tube. So no extra bearings, that's for sure. Not really expecting extras on that. Extras on the bolts and screws and such is nice though. So that'll get there. And this will go on this way. And again, we're going to be screwing into plastic. And that was that 2.5 or 3? That was the 3. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll just tighten it down just till that screw touches the top plastic. And that's enough. Since it's screwing into plastic, we do not want to strip out the plastic. And they don't need to be overly tight anyway. There's that. All right, now we'll do the motor for this one. So this one is going to get our B, and it's going to go upside down on this one. Or I guess that doesn't. I guess it's gear side down is probably a better way to put that. I think these were 2 mils. Yes. Nice to know that some of my magnetized Allen drivers are still magnetized and working. So let's get that on. And that's going gear side down, and make sure I'm on the right camera. Tighten it up just enough to make sure I'm on that flat. And now we're going to use the B. See if we can get it snapped in there like I did on the other one. There we go. And then we'll tighten this down. And tighten this one down. There we go. And then again, it shows the plug going towards that this side here where the extrusion is going to be. And again with the M3x30s. 2, 3 of those. And I probably need to ream those out as well. Yep. We'll just, yeah, they're a little tight. Get those reamed out a little bit. Needs to screw into the motor and doesn't need to screw into the plastic. Alright, so plug to the, that'll be the Y extrusion. Okay, there we go. And we should be able to kind of see where that screw goes in there to get it tightened down. And that one should just sit right in. Okay. Looks like it is. All right, so that should be all of those. Check orientation. So we got to check and make sure that the bottom one lines up with our pulley, and should be able to see it there. It does. So we're good to go on that one. And then that takes care of those. And the next thing to do is to get the Y-axis done. Oh, here we go. Time to pull the frame back up onto the table. I guess those can sit in the middle. And I took the frame downstairs to my granite countertop just to make sure it was square and had no problems. Even though up here on this tile it seems a little off, and the engineered marble in the bathrooms are definitely not flat. It was really wobbly on there, but once I got it downstairs to the granite, it was nice and square and flat as could be. So now we're going here. We need, looks like 7 M5 T-nuts and 1 M3 T-nut for these. So that's going to be this side here. And I've got M5s, 4 on this side here, 2 top and 1 bottom, and then 1 M3 on the bottom. So let's see, there's the 4 and 3. And they do show an orientation, which is nice. they show which way the screw hole should be on each of these. So that's really nice. I like that. Hello, Benny. How are you today? Let's see if we can get this snapped in. There's one and two. All right. And those are nice and tight in there. All right, let's do this. It'll be easier to do this not sitting down. And these are going to face away as well. So it looks like everything faces, the screw holes are all facing toward the extrusion, the exterior extrusion, so that's nice to see. That. And then this one away and away. The bottom ones are going to be a whole lot easier to get in. You don't have that top extrusion getting right in your way. Did not look and see how the camera might be on these. So the M5 on the bottom goes closer to that upright extrusion, and yeah, the camera's not showing it. Let's see if I can scooch this over, or maybe not. So, guess if I go to the right camera. For some reason, my Nikon decided not. All right, I don't know if it's the stream cam or the Nikon. No video feed there. The camera shows the feed, but it's not coming through on the other. So let's just go back there and see. All right, well, so let's use this one. All right, so underneath here, see if you can see it, the M5 goes towards the extrusion, and then there'll be an M3 underneath there. I don't think I can get a good spot here with this tripod. I'll have to figure out what's going on with my Nikon and why it all of a sudden went black. So up at the top here, we've got two M5s there, holes pointing towards the upright, and the same with this side. And then if we come around this way, two M5s here, and then an M5 and an M3 here, which not the best way to see it, but there it is. And that'll be, let's see how we can do this with just the one camera. This little tripod's not the greatest thing. Power cycle this one and see if that might help. OBS isn't the greatest for picking up something after it's gone. So let's see if we can get this in here. to work. Hey, a little bit. So we're looking at this corner here. All right. Says to do the same. I'm not going to worry about the other side yet. We'll just get this side together, then we'll worry about the other side. So it's actually wanting to do these over here first, which will be our idlers. So this one should go here. And it is calling for M5x10s for these. I know this camera is not ideal, but the other one is working on the back of the camera, but OBS is not picking it up. Let's see if we can get these lined up. I can scoot the idler to the front. Once it's all together. These are 3mm on the drive. And I'm not going to be able to do the top ones with one of those. All right. So the top is set well. These all have ball ends, so that's nice. Just take them down till they're somewhat snug and then back them off just a hair so that I can get so I can slide it back up into the front. There we go. Slide it up and we can tighten it down. Try to make sure I keep out of the way as much as I can so you can see more what I'm doing and less of me. Give it a nice little all right, there we go. So that's not going, shouldn't be going anywhere. All right. So well, they're shown to do the same one, but because of the way I've got to use this camera, let's worry about the back side first, which shows the same here, M5x10s on the top. See if we can get the camera to look back there. Hey, Kind of, sort of. There we go. Now it puts that right in the chat window. There we go. So then we'll do the same thing here. I'll get this lined up. We'll get it all together and then push it to the back once we get the screws in. M5 by 10s. All right, and underneath, not the best angle. Let's see if I can get a better look. There we go. That looks good. Now we can just snap it in place. We did the front one. All right, line our screws up and get them in there. And again, I'll just tighten them down just a little bit. Back it off a hair so that I know it'll slide. All right, and then for this side, we're going to add the sensor pod. I'm not using Hall effect. The kit came with the PCB for the end stops, so I'm just going to use the end stops. It's a dark blue. Yeah, it doesn't come through the greatest, and unfortunately the Nikon's not picking up. See if I might be able to get a little better brightness on this one. Yesterday the cameras were the opposite. This one was too bright and the other was too dark. Now today this one is a little on the dark side and the other was a little bit too bright comparatively. It was fine, just this one ended up being darker. But yeah, you can kind of see it there. It's a little more a little brighter now, so you can see the blue instead. So the color scheme, Formbot didn't have a choice on frame color. It was any color you want as long as it was black. So black frame, and without thinking about it, you can see here on that front one the white, and then it's dark blue for the primary. So I wasn't trying to go for a nautical theme. It just ended up that way. So I need an M516 and an M312 to put this on. M3 by 12. slide it in there. And my M3 didn't grab that. It just grabbed into plastic. So we need to back that out. And I can't tell if I'm crabbing, so let's get these tightened down and I can look at that one. I can flip it over and check it. All right, so there's those are tight. So we're nice and tight on all of that. And this one up here, I'm gonna flip it over so that I can check the bottom there. I want to get this. So on here, we've got an M5. If I can get right there, here we go. An M5 here and the M3 here, but you can see I didn't quite get caught on there, so need to back this M3 up and then slide my nut over so that maybe we can catch it. And that's what flashlights are for, right? I don't know if I'm even in there on the M5, because that doesn't seem to be moving. I don't even know how good that's catching none of it. Okay. Take that out. There we go. Now we should catch on both of them. There we go. Tighten these down and then we can do the other side. All right. I guess a nautical theme does go well with the Trident as well. I mean, I didn't think about that, but Doesn't the king of the ocean carry a trident? Isn't that what it was? So I guess that'll work. All right. So we've got that done. M5 by 10. So the other side just gets 8 M5 T-nuts because it doesn't have that that extra piece that's going to hit either your Hall effect sensor or your, in my case, the end stop. Of course, if I decide not to use the end stops, I can always just take them out and go with that. I need 8 of these, and I get 9 shaken out. That works. Move this to the floor since I'm spinning this thing around so we can use this camera, and we'll extend all my legs out. So that's going to be this corner, and then on the other side. So since I've got it upside down, let's go ahead and get these in. And again, they all go with the screw facing the upright. My Amazon delivery is almost here. I don't know why some of the drivers use the chat option and some don't. Alright, well, and since the other camera's just not wanting to cooperate, I'm doing the same thing on the other side. I'm gonna have to look and see, maybe move my other camera over or something to where I've got a better option. And there goes the dog, because the Ring doorbell just said somebody's at the front door. Probably my Amazon delivery. Part of it is we're going to be getting fiber in the coming weeks, and I had to redo my server closet, including adding a 2-gang box in there. All right, let's see if we can get in here. Hey, we can. So that's going to be our idler here, and this way. And it says M5 by 10s for that one. And I need 4 of them. So there's that. Now let's see if we can get the others lined up. There we go. Should be able to get this on. Tiffany. Nobody's at the door, baby. Nope, they're gone. Nothing for puppy anyway. It's just for daddy. All right. She just loves when new people come to see her. So she hears that notice that somebody's at the door, and she thinks somebody's here to see her, so she's got to go and check them out. All right. all the way forward, and let's tighten them down. Now she's just going to sit at the top of the stairs until I go downstairs to check the door and prove to her that nobody's here. All right, so that one's in place. Now, let's get this other side here done. Let's see if I can get keep from getting everybody completely and totally dizzy and disoriented. And we'll get this piece over here on. That's going to go this way. Get it lined up as best I can. I believe it was the same here, the M5s by 10s. Right. Well, with the exception of getting the bearing stacks on the idlers, it's been moving along pretty good. Back that one off a hair. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think the motor's coming out here so you can run them right down the uprights. So that works good. Give this a nice little tightening just to make sure we're nice and tight on there. And the same for the front idler. Oh, that one definitely needed a couple ugga-duggas. I was not quite there. Poor puppy. Okay. So, we should be through all of those. So here we go. M5 T-nuts on the D-extrusion. And when I was putting the frame together, I found that the piece I used for the middle and the bottom, the back, is the same size or same length as the front bed extrusion, but the front bed extrusion isn't drilled the back one is. So now my front bed extrusion is drilled. It wasn't that they didn't drill it, it was that I grabbed the wrong extrusion and didn't realize there were two the same size. So this needs 10 T-nuts. Okay. So here's that extrusion that's going to go in between there. And there's the dog. I don't think you can see her. Let's see if we can get some light. Just laying there, wondering what's going on and why nobody's at the door, why I haven't taken her down to see who's at the door. Let's see if we can get a good angle. There we go. So we need 10 M5 T-nuts. And again, it shows us the orientation they need to be in. So all of them are facing towards the uprights, including the two that will be on the bottom. Let's just see if we can just slide them in instead this time. So it'll give me 3 there, 2 there, and then I'll do the same on this side. I'll slide them in. 2 there, and 3 underneath. And so I've got 6 on the bottom, 4 on the top. And let's take them in a ways. That way it's easier to line them up in here. Hopefully I won't break one of these. Let's loosen up these two and see if maybe that'll give us a little extra wiggle room. There we go. All right. Get it as centered as I can here. It looks pretty close. So tighten these back down. Again, these are the ones that go into plastic, so I don't want to over tighten them and strip out that plastic. All right, so that is that one slid into place, and then M5 by 10s, top and bottom. So I've still got my M5 10s up here. Get these screwed in, tightened down. All right. one side. Or I'll flip it over and get the other, get the underneath, because I'm going to need to line these up pretty well. Be a lot easier to do that if I can see down in. I definitely have enough light, at least from here. I don't know how it looks on the camera, but there's plenty of light in person, that's for sure. And those are not into plastic, so they can be tightened down pretty good. And let's see how we get here. Should be good to see. There we go. We got M5 by 10s. All right, going. Here we are. Let's throw some M5 by 10s around. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that's all right, I guess, on the camera angle. I'm really going to have to find out what's going on with that other camera and OBS and why they don't like to play nice. All right, so there's that. Now for that offset extrusion, and I do have the pieces here to go in here. I don't recall them saying to put a, did I miss it? Either I haven't missed it or they haven't told us to put them in there yet. They hadn't told us to put it in there yet. So I need M5 T-nuts to go in there. It's all right, I've got M5 T-nuts. They show the screw on these as going up. All right, so there's where we're at. And I've got the screw, and it goes up towards this extrusion because we're upside down currently. Need one more for the other side. There we go. All right. And then this one goes in here. They are M5 by 10 still, so that's easy enough. And we'll get them started. Then we can just slide it over and get this in place. think I'm going to need, yep, ball end to do this one. Not quite enough. There we go. Now I'm not worried too much about over tightening this side because it's not going to have to move any. But this side here still needs to be able to slide a little bit so we can get it in place and make sure we're at 90 degrees. Even though my right angle square is too much, but I think that's right there. It also needs to be 175 millimeter, and the little one's too short. So 175 at the top, and it's 175 there. 175 there. Tighten that one down and we'll double check that we're square, feel square, and we are 175. So now we can put the other one on. Slide that in. Go. All right. Trying to keep my big fat hands and fingers out of the way. Okay. There we go. And tighten this one down, and I'll double check. Not a real good way to do square, but that one's good. And we're still 175. So we are still good there. All right, I've already gotten those tightened down. Still upside down. Next is to do linear rails. We go get those. They should be dry. Grab my... Now these carriages do seem to really move nicely on the rails, even with no grease in there. So here's the carriages, and it moves nicely. It even slides down on its own for the most part. They do not have fill ports, so I'm just going to do the squeeze it in method. One nice thing about the LDO kit is that it comes with the inserts for the screws, as opposed to having to use the roll-ins. This one showing, I guess that might be that back one, yeah. maybe the back one going ahead, and you might be able to have enough room to slide it in this way. But let's get grease in these, and I am just going to do the flood it method here. So find a hole and line it up, and then see if we can get it in here. And it's, you can see it squeezing out there. And all over me. So we should be good. All right. And my print's done as well. The rails that came with the honey badger rails that came with the Fabrico stuff are all pre-lubed, and it's this same way they do those. You can see there's almost always one hole that's got that in there. And the next one I do, I need to make sure I count my holes, and I don't need but 2 more, right? Oh, and we should need all of these actually. Make sure I'm putting it, squeezing it through one of these holes I'm not going to be using for a screw. There we go. Just get it squeezing in there a little bit, and I'm just going until I start to see it coming out. Some of these are going in a lot easier than others. There we go. Yeah, this one here's, they're not moving as nicely as they were before I gave them a bath. They're still moving nicely, just not quite as nice as they were with that shipping oil in on them. Now that grease is getting in there though, and they're moving nice and very quiet even compared to what they were before. Even with just the shipping oil, they were a little noisy. You might be able to hear that. But yeah, with the shipping oil, they were just about as noisy. But with this, I think it's Mobilux. I just bought the syringe from Fabrico when I ordered some other stuff. And I figure I could use that. I've got a can of the WD-40 white lithium, but that's a little on the thinner side. I'd rather have something a little thicker for these. Oh. All right. All right, so these are going to be M3 T-nuts, 8 of them it looks like, and then M3 by 8. M3 T-nuts. See if we can get a decent enough angle. On here. They show 8 of them. I don't really think it matters, but we'll just do 4 one way and 4 the other way. I think that'll work out just fine. And I think that the manual is set up for the 250 3 by 8. And they say M3 by 8 socket heads. Okay, and that is a 2.5 mil drive. There we go. So the front 4 point to the front, and the back 4 I've got pointing to the back. And these are Vive Dino branded linear rails and carriages. Let's see if I need another one of these. Well, that leaves me with one not getting. Oh, that's all right. If I space them right, I might find I'm just where I need to be. There we go. And get these snapped in to make sure it's centered. And there we go. And I like to alternate end to end on tightening my screws down. So I will just get, as I go, I'll just get them in there and get them tightened down. And every other screw is what they say in the manual, and that should be more than enough for what we're doing. They're glorified heat guns or hot glue guns that They might be somewhat precision, but they're not that much precision. All right. There we go. And since this one is not going to fly off because it's got stops, I am going to go ahead and pull the end stops out of the rail. They're not needed. They will be on the Z upright one, but not on this one so much. All right, see if I can get, okay, good. Camera looks fine. I need 8 more T-nuts. And again, front 4-point to the front, back 4-point to the back. And nope, and overroll it. There we go. I will say, working with the V0 from LDO with that nice, with the inserts was really nice. Not having to mess with, these roll-in T-nuts. I could definitely use one of those bars. Granted, I would have had to put that in before putting the frame together. Can't just go back and redo that after the fact, but man, once it's in there, it's still really nice. I had that on my salad fork. I've got that on my salad fork as well, and putting boop on the salad fork where I had to change out the X carriage or the X rail to a different, so I could get a wider carriage to fit the boop correctly. It was so much nicer having that in there. I didn't have to worry about, oh, did my T-nuts get moved out of the way? It just went right in quick and easy. So that was really nice. All right, you know what? I don't know if that's going to fit in there, but let's find out. I'm pretty sure I've got the right bit for this screwdriver. Aha. And I think that'll just go quicker. There we go. Ah, much better. I don't want to tighten that one yet. Let's get this one in. Yeah, that makes it so much easier than the regular screwdriver, and I'm not having to change bits out, so that's fine. It's when you have to change bits out that it can be a little more, where it can be nicer to use the dedicated drivers rather than messing with this one. All right, so that takes care of the y-axis. Those are moving good. All right. And just looking at the manual, we're done with those. All right, and the next one, let's see how much this one is. It looks like it's just getting the Z-rails, motors, and that in. So I think we'll go ahead and get this done, get the Z-axis stuff done, and then we'll move on, and that'll be it for the stream today. We'll go ahead and get this bit done for today, and I'm gonna have to dig out the parts, but I've already got the rails ready to go, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if one of these will fit in here. No, well, that'll work. We'll just do it the same way. Let's see if we can do a better camera angle. Can we get in there? Yeah, all right, so come here. And she's just sitting there, just watching. I don't know what she wants. It's raining outside, so I know she doesn't want to go out. She's probably still upset that I didn't run downstairs to check the door when we heard the ring say there was somebody at the front door. Because you can't not answer the door. Could be somebody she likes. Could be something for her. So she doesn't like it when I ignore the door, whether it's the doorbell or just the notification that somebody's at the door. She'll get over it. All right, so I've got those in, so let's get these lined up. Now this one, I'm definitely going to want to leave the stoppers on. And this one has to be spaced a specific amount, so I've got that. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's find all these parts. All right, so get my Beno parts out here. So I have my Beno parts. Let's find these parts that it's calling for. All right, so I need my cable chain holder for this thing. Well, I know I'm gonna need that one. I know I need that one. And I'm missing one more of those. And this is showing we're going to get the feet on as well. Pull those 4 out. Those. And I'm going to have to read, because I think next week as well we will be getting to the bottom, and I'm doing the inverted electronics. There's that piece. So I'm definitely going to have to look and see how that's going to work out. Man, sounds like I'm rummaging through a box of Lego. See, I think that should be it. All right, I think that might be it. Let's see, well, that's that one there. That's that one there. Okay. All right, well, let's. So the first thing it shows to put on here is going to be the back motor mount, which will be this one here. And since we're already there, and it is calling for M5s here and here, here and here, 2 each. Here's my M5s. They show they go away. So let's get the 2 in the bottom. We'll flip it up. Get the 2 in the top. And then it should be M5 by 10s, and it is. There we go. 4 of these. That is going to go that way. Let's get on this side. Does not seem to want to bite into it, so these things seem like they're stainless steel and not non-ferrous. recall them saying you needed anything different for these, so let's make sure it can sit flat, because it looks like I'm not quite making it over there. Let's see if maybe we can do the bottom ones first. And maybe that'll pull it in a bit better. All right. They look like they're lined up. Now these pieces are different from the stock pieces. These are for the inverted electronics. So I'm wondering if maybe they need a M5 by 12 instead of an M5 by 10. Let's look. So, see if we can find the inverted electronics real quick. Thought they had a GitHub. Let's go to the printables link. And that's not the ones I've got. Okay. GitHub, there we go. So, it says no additional parts. It doesn't say. Bottom plate, no, that's that. I don't have fusion on this one. To pull up the CAD and check it. Alright, well, let's make sure. My M5s, maybe I grabbed an M3. That would be why. Maybe I grabbed the wrong key nuts, and I did. I grabbed the M3s instead of the M5s. That would be why they won't go in. You can't fit a bigger screw in a smaller hole. Well, that one does not want to come out of there, and that just broke that 2mm drivers, so that's not nice. Well, let's see if we can get the other ones out. and I can worry about getting that one out later. M5 T-nuts. More of those. All right. Some of these are really tight in there. All right, well that one lined up just right. There we go. And that one went too far. There we go. Now, I don't know how well that's going to be on there, but let's see if we can maybe move it a little bit to where we can see. Not very well, but well, it's right in the way. Let's get these in. All right. There we go. I think we're all right there, yeah. Should be able to get these in. I'll worry about getting those T-nuts out later. What are you doing, Tiff? All right, so that is that one there. All right, so now they show getting the Z carriage there done, which I've already got the I've already got the roll-in T-nuts in there, so we just have to line it up. And I'm not going to mess with, I can get it into a better place once the screws are in. this one, I think I put the grease in one of my screw holes. Oh, maybe not. All right, there we go. And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to move the, take the top out. So we'll leave that top one in there for now. And that should still be the M3x8. Okay. And they do warn you about taking out the top one, which I just... Okay, so that's fine. It does look like it goes all the way flush with the bottom anyway, so I don't need to move it. All right, there we go. Leaving the top one in so that when I flip it upside down to put the Z motors in, I don't have to worry about it falling off. And we'll do the same for the other ones. So we are here, done. So it does show. I need to get the, I need to find my stops. I didn't grab them out. 1, 2, 3. And it is calling for M3x8s, which I've already got, and the hammerheads, which I've got here. All right. So here's my accent piece, my hammerhead, and another M3x8. And for these, you can go ahead and just kind of start it and then slip it in. Make sure your orientation is correct on that hammerhead nut. And for some reason, it just doesn't want to line up right. that tolerance is not good enough. And there we go. There we go. Now I can take that out because it won't go off anyway. All right, so there's that one there is done. Now we can move on to the front corners, which may not be in frame. There's one over here. And that's going to be here and here. And I need M5 T-nuts, and these need to face towards and away. M5 T-nuts. So let's turn this, and it's this corner here. So the first one is going to face in towards the extrusion, and the back one faces away from the extrusion, and the same goes for this side here. Will face toward and away. And definitely need to move these. That one looks all right. And I'll be able to adjust at least the outside ones a bit once we get there. Let's see. And M5 by 10s, yes. Get these front two first, or the inside ones first, and then I can worry about the outside ones after. Okay, and these are both situated good. I think these holes are the stringiest parts I've got on any of my printed pieces. That might just be the way they were modeled in there. I didn't use supports. Okay, so there's that one. So now let's get this one here, and we'll do the same. We want 4 of them, and we want hole towards and hole away. And then hole towards and hole away. And let's get this situated, and that one's actually pretty close as it is. Looks like those are all right. So this tightened down. Do the same thing, do the insides, and then I'll do the outsides. Once these are in, that way I can double check and make sure everything is lined up. All right, there we go. So that takes care of both of them. So now we just need to get the rails on the insides. So let's set this way. Okay. And we'll get the rail on this one and that one. So we should need 8 M3 T-nuts per side. All right. Well, that's definitely magnetic on that one. All right. There we go. All right, so rails. Okay. Okay. Make sure we're all in holes, and we need 8 of these. Okay, moving right along, and then I guess while we're here, I'll get that end stop in as well, up at the top. Again, that's going to be the same M3 by 8, but I need a hammerhead nut instead of the roll-in T-nut. Alright. And of course you want to make sure these are facing the right direction with the curved parts down. Okay, well now my carriage can't go off on either end. So we're good there. Let's get this other end in here. Be nice to, hopefully next stream the other camera will be working again and we won't have to mess with wonky wonkiness like this. All right, so I need all of these again, 8 of them. And again, the bottom 4 face the bottom, and the top 4 face the top. And I've got this piece here already, so let's go ahead and make sure it's right. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in and just move it all the way to the top. All right, so I've had some of these roll-in T-nuts that were really good that just snapped right in with just a little pressure from my thumb, and then most of them are like this where they need a little extra coercion. Well, I don't think it's one that I've got out, but I see a spring and ball in the bag for the T-nuts. So one of them came apart. But again, hopefully there's a good bit of extra of things like this and it doesn't matter. Okay. I'm just taking these off because I'm not going to have to worry about it. The stops are there as it is. There we go. All right. Well, we're getting there. Get a good bit of this together today, so that's nice. Maybe I'll look more. There's not a lot of documentation on the inverted electronics, but I'll look more at it, and maybe that'll go a little bit quicker, because I think we'll be at least getting those together along with the x-axis next Monday. We'll see if 10 o'clock, I think that seems to work well for me. Hopefully it works well for everybody else. And we can do a 10 o'clock Monday stream. Might work out best. Let's see. I was going to say, watch it be that these need to go on the inside, but I know that they're in the right spot. I can even go look at my solid fork right behind me to see that. All right, so that takes care of the Z rails. Let's see what's next after that. I missed a step. What step did I miss? I didn't miss a step. They're all there. Got those all on. Those are on. Those are on. Those are on. And those are all on. All right, let's see. Now these Z motors came with the brass. I got to double check, but I think I've got some of the palm, which I like a little better. Yeah, I've got 3 of the palms still. So the brass ones that are on here are just going to go off. And I don't know why they had to put them on like that. They could have just put them in a little bag. It would have been fine by me. And then I wouldn't have to take the things off. And I 6 of one, half a dozen the other, I think, on them. I kind of like the palm. I know some people like the brass. I think the palm's got a little more play to them, and that's the whole point of them going into these pieces on the that are going to ride on the carriages here. Is these are almost never straight. Bunny, I like the extra play that you can get out of the palm. Some people don't even use them, so you know, I take that for what you will. The main thing between either one of them is these lead screws are almost never straight, so they ride up and down on these. I guess you kind of need these actually, so you have to use them because your carriage will ride up and down on them, and then there'll be a little bit of play when you get them screwed in here. These can play a little bit inside, and that will hopefully take out any of that wobble that you might see because the lead screw isn't perfectly straight. Some people like the brass, some people like the palm. I can't tell you one's better than the other. They both do the same job. Alex, this is not the LDO kit. This is the Formbot kit. Let's see. So we've got this done. So the next part is these, an M5 nut and M3 by 6s. And those are these 3 pieces. Well, 4 pieces, but they're different. So M5 nuts. I'm gonna need 2 of these. And then I guess I can put these out of the way for now and get these up and out of the way. Yeah, and I think, Bonnie, I'm thinking of one of the other pieces that you can have brass or palm that people don't use. But these, yeah, these are going to get screwed into these, and that's what rides up and down on the carriage here. So that'll ride up and down, and yeah, I swapped the brass ones out on my salad fork for the palm. That's why I've got extra palm nuts. They just seem to have a little more compliance, a little more forgiving. M3 by 6 is here. All right. And those will probably be what I've got loaded in the LTT screwdriver. So that shows, and then the M5 nut goes in here. And this goes on here. And then the M3/6s just screw into the plastic. No need for them to screw into anything else. And of course that's not the right size that's in there, and it's the size that's broken on my regular drivers. So there we go. Got the M5 nut. Well, I had M5 nut preloaded, so that goes in here. This will go on here. I don't remember if that captive, I don't think that holds the M5 nut captive though. Let's ream these out. And the glue didn't seem to work earlier, so I'm just going to deal with it. If I have to put a screw in there, I'll just put a screw in there, and that'll hold it for sure. All right, let's do that one back there first. Yeah, I never liked ratcheting screwdrivers, but I am liking this one. I guess I better for what they cost. I mean, they are a great screwdriver. Whether it's worth the $70 for you is up to you to decide, but I'm not going to knock it. It is a great screwdriver. It's a great quality piece, but it's tough to swallow that price tag sometimes. Doesn't bother me, but yeah, I know some people can't afford a $70 screwdriver. It's a screwdriver. You can go buy them at Harbor Freight for what, $1 a piece. Let's just say you want one with different size bits. Maybe spend $10 on one. But it's a lot better screwdriver than any of my cheap screwdrivers, that's for sure. I'm definitely not going to knock it, but yeah, some people some people are definitely going to balk at that kind of a price for a screwdriver. But if you want my opinion, if you can afford it, buy one, you'll be happy. And I'm not getting paid by LTT to say that, but yeah, if you like a good ratcheting screwdriver, you'll probably love it. If you're on the fence about ratcheting screwdrivers or don't like ratcheting screwdrivers like me, I would say see if you have a friend that's got one and try theirs, because I've never liked a ratcheting screwdriver until I had this one. They always seemed just a little wonky, and this just works. I mean, I hate to just say it that way, but it does, and it's so nice with the ratcheting that it's in the same direction. Most of them you got to try to figure out, hey, which way do I need to turn this? Half of them are, most of them I think are actually opposite. So if you want to tighten, you turn this piece opposite tighten, where this is, you want to tighten, you turn it the same direction as tighten. In the middle, it's locked, it doesn't move. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. Okay, so, I mean, they're showing to do the nuts next, and then to do the next one, but I had them both. Let's go ahead and take care of them. So now it wants M3 lock nuts and M3 by 12s. And again, I'm going to use my palm nuts instead of the brass ones. And then we put that in there. Let's get the right one. I want to have the same one there showing here, so I can compare. There are 4 different screw holes on here, and this has got 4, but they're only calling for 2, so they want to use the 2 here, so you've got the lateral movement once it's in. And that was M312s and M3 lock nuts. So here are my lock nuts. M36s can go back in. And they're saying M312 socket heads. The kit had M312 sockets and M312 flats. 2 of those and 2 of those. So that gives me 2 for each. And again, they'll go in here. So you get the lateral movement. So those will go in like that. And then you don't want these to be tight. You just want them to hold the palm nut in the place. Because you want there to be some play in this as it's going to compensate for anything in the lead screw, any wobble in the lead screw. Now, is this the right bit? No. And you'll probably have to get some pliers to hold this lock nut in place, because the nylon inside there that allows it to not move once it's tightened down can be kind of tough to screw into. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take it down, and it's tight, and I'll back it off a little bit on both, just to make sure that I don't want too much play, but I do want it to be able to go back and forth, if you can see. But I don't want too awful much play in that nut. Basically tighten it down till it doesn't move, and then back it off till it does. So that's moving good. And then the same for this side. We want to be on the lateral movement. So we'll get those in there. And then on these lock nuts, I just tighten them down as far as I can with my fingers, and that's normally till it hits that nylon. And then you can just grab it with your pliers and tighten it down with your driver. And the same thing here, I want to take it in and then back it off just a little bit so that it has that lateral movement. Some of them will have, I guess it depends too on the printed parts, but some of them seem to have a little more lateral movement than others. But those are good. So that takes us through there, and then the next one is the back. It should be this one here. And they're showing an M5 nut in here. I thought there was a accent part for that, and there may be. It might just be still down in the box, buried. And I think these are all a little oversized. That nut might fit in there nicely. There we go. That's not going to come out easily. Okay, so then this goes in here, and you can see this one doesn't have the cross. It's just got the two for the front back movement. So you want lateral on the front and front back on the back. And that'll keep it well enough constrained. And this is still M3x12s and 2 lock nuts. And again, the same thing with that. You're going to want to tighten them down just enough and then back a hair off so that they do have some movement. I've never paid any attention or looked it up, but I always, there's a little cap to these lock nuts. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but I always put it outside, so away from the screw head or away from what I'm screwing into. I've never looked to see if that's correct or if I'm doing it wrong. It works for me, so I just keep doing it the same way I've been doing it. I could be completely off on that, and maybe I've been doing it wrong the whole time I've been using them. Go. So those should be good. And that takes care of that assembly. All right, and then it's showing us putting them on the M312s for the two front and M38s for the rear. Since I've got it in this arrangement, I'm going to start with the rear with the M38s, and then I'll move to the fronts with those M312s, and they are M312 sockets. It should be M38 sockets as well. And these, you want to make sure, you want to get them tight, but you don't want to over tighten them. You do not want to strip out the carriage. Let's see if we can turn this a little bit there. And in some of these instances, it may even be, I might not be able to use the LTT screwdriver just because some of these holes might be a little too deep depending on which one it is. So it may not fit in there with that tiny little bit. Normally, if you can get one of these started, then the other ones are pretty easy to get started. And when I'm doing these, I do like to do a cross pattern when I'm tightening them down. Keep it a little more even. Because of the size, this is so much easier to get to. On the salad fork, I had to take the palm nut out because it blocked access to these screws on the bottom. But that's also, instead of 2020s, that's also on 1515 extrusions. All right, I hope I put that on right. I did. Okay. So make sure that you have it on in the correct orientation. So I've got it on right. The screws are on the top on all of them. Move these out of here. Okay, so this should go here and this should go here. And can you see that? Kind of. All right. Yeah, I don't think that the bit for the LTT screwdriver would fit in this bottom hole because it's pretty deep. But these work perfectly fine, and the bigger handle on the LTT screwdriver might even give you too much torque, and then over torque these and possibly strip out one of the screw holes on the carriage, and that's not a good thing. All right. That worked out really nice to just kind of fit. Granted, once you get the bed and everything else on here, don't think they'll go all the way to the bottom anymore. Alright, there we go. That is all on. Go back to here, and it says to flip it upside down, and then we're going to add motors in with M3x12s. So let's flip it upside down. All right, so we are upside down, and that one's still not working. Whew. All right, so motors, it is showing, let's see, you want to have the cable, see if I can get a good look. Here we go. So you want to have your cable going that way, and then when we get to this other side, the cable is going to go inward as well. And let's see what they show for the middle in the back. So in the middle in the back, they are showing to be coming into the middle. So we should be good on all of that. This is where I really need the other camera, huh? So let's just do it that way. I'll just do my best to stay out of the way while I'm screwing these things in. These, of course, you just kind of need to twist them so they get seated in there. And hopefully they get seated in there. Maybe I need to use those brass ones. I really don't want to use the brass ones if I can avoid it, but these do not seem to be catching onto the palm nuts. So looks like I'm going to have to use the brass ones. kind of a bummer. They may be different starts. Get the this palm nut out, and I'll try try it outside of the printed part and see what happens. So just throw some stuff around. Yeah, that's just not going on there. Well, I guess we're using the brass ones. So let's get the brass in here. There's not enough of a difference to worry about. Just kind of sucks that I already got all the palm ones on and I got to pull them all off. So we are looking at M3x12 socket heads to mount the motors here. And that one's in. And again with the cross pattern. If I can get it to catch. There it goes. And I can tighten it down once I get this flipped over. You know, I'm just gonna get these just started, and like I said, well, I'll tighten it down once it's flipped over. I'm gonna have to get those brass nuts on anyway. Then I'm gonna, they say to grease up these rails a little bit as well. Well, I guess I've got palm nuts for another build. And it's really not too difficult to get these things started and get those get these nuts tighten down even once they're inside. Not too bad. When I changed my salad fork over from the brass ones to the palm, I did it all with everything already on the printer. Everything was already installed. It wasn't, other than the back one, because of the how I had to pull out some of that, but it was a little tight there. But the rest of it was fine. It wasn't too awful bad. As long as you've got good access to the top and bottom, they're nothing to do. And on here, this printer's big enough, access isn't a problem. All right, there we go. Just would have been nice to if the palm nuts would work with these lead screws. But it is what it is. It happens. I didn't look. I didn't test. That was my own fault. Well, at least it didn't roll off the table. Make sure I'm putting them in the right orientation. Okay, yeah, they go on the outside. All right. Sorry if I'm blocking any view. I got to be able to kind of see where the holes are at under here. And again, I'll tighten these up as a little bit more once I've got it flipped back upside, right side up. I'll go around and in a cross pattern, make sure they're even, tighten them down. I'd never seen anybody or anything saying to use Loctite on these, so I've never have. Don't really think it should be necessary. All right, so upside down. Those are in, those are in. All right, M3x6. So we want to assemble our 4 feet. I've already got the feet out. I just need some M3x6s. And that says button heads. So that's these here. Let's see if we can tilt down a little bit. There we go. I think these were the ones that is on here. Yep. All right. So we've got 4 feet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we've got 4 accent pieces to go on them. Hopefully I don't have to ream these out. We'll see if they fit. They should be good. Get that one started. Get these others lined up. And I'll get them all started in here, and then I'll tighten them down a little bit better. There we go. I believe it's an M5 and an M510 or an M512 that holds the rubber foot on, which is, I believe, still in my box underneath the table. And again, with these, you're screwing into plastic, so you want to be careful. And this one, I can see I had a little warpage on the print. And since these are strictly accent pieces and strictly decorative, that's why they're screwing into plastic and not going into a heat set. They're not going to go anywhere. Alright, well, we'll get these done. I will take care of getting the these brass nuts screwed in off camera. We'll get these done, and then it'll be time to end, because it's my tummy is telling me it is past lunchtime. And then tonight, I think Steve and Pooch are continuing the Pooch's Trident build, so I'll be watching that stream when it comes up. I think it's at 6:30 my time, which is in about 5 hours. I don't know if I'll be in there for the whole stream or part of it, but I'm going to try to catch as much as I can. And then hopefully for next week, the Nikon's working all the stream. It's done so in the past. Maybe the camera overheated. It's a bit warm today. But the camera seems to be working. It seems to be something between the camera and OBS, the cam link I've got. I'm not sure what's going on. I know people say OBS is hit or miss, and I've had about the same experience. Some days it seems to work beautifully, and other days it's not so much. Yep, you're welcome, Bliney. Thanks for stopping in and watching. All right. So now it's calling for M5 on the sides and M3 on the front and back. And those are T-nuts. All right, so M3s front and back. Here are my M3s, and they're showing, I can't quite tell. Looks like they go away. Okay, come on now. Okay, so there's the M3s. Where are my M5s? Oh, there they are. I need 4 of these as well. 3, 4. And again, they go, look like they went away. And away. All right, so there's that. So, going this way. M5, 10, M3, 8. Let's do my M5 10s because I've got them right here. So that should be 4 of these. And there is an access hole on these feet to do this. Try to get camera done and I'm just going to put the screw in first and then stick my driver through the screw hole, and then I should be able to catch the nut. Oh, wait a minute. That one goes over here. There should be 2 different feet. Should be one for right corner and one for left corner. So you shouldn't, that way they all fit correctly, since you've got M5s on one side and M3s on the other. And the feet also have raised portions to go into the extrusions. I was forgetting that these go in this way and not screw into the extrusion like the V0 does. And again, I don't think that shaft on the LTT screwdriver would have fit through here at all. But these work fine. All right, so those are in. I need M3x8 for the other, and it shows M3/8 socket heads. Where the M3/5s were button heads, but I think that's just to minimize the bomb more than anything. You've already got M3 button heads or M5 button heads, might as well use them. And this one I might need to use my ball head. That is a 2.5. Where is... Okay, I am not sure what I did with my... There it is. All right. It's not my 2.5. This is 2.5. Have to use the ball heads here because there's no through hole to get to it. That one's too deep. I may have to take the screw out. This side and get to these two. I think the next step is to get the actual rubber feet on. Might have went a little too far. So get a little one in here and pull it back. There we go. I don't know if I can do that on the other side though. Let's see. No, I'm gonna have to take that M5 out. Or at least loosen it enough to go. Now let's push it in and get it set. There we go. All right. There we go. That's nice and tight. All right. So now we need M5x16, the rubber foot, and the M5 nut. M516, M5 nut. And of course, 4 of each. As will be getting those on. All right. this one, or it might be bigger one. All right, that's that one. Now I need my rubber feet. At least I can see them already. There we go. 4 rubber feet. Go ahead and get the screws inside these, and that way all I gotta do is basically drop them in. Now the printed parts, probably could have put the nuts in there first. But they feel like they're kind of loose, so I don't think it would have held in anyway. But you can kind of get them in there and twist them a little bit to the right orientation, and once you catch the nut with the screw, it'll go right through anyway. All right, you just kind of have to work it around a little bit to get the right orientation for it to just kind of slip right up in there. And the screws don't stick past the printed part, so if the nut's not in that recess, the screw will not catch it. But it's not too difficult to get that screw or that nut in that recess, and then it's done. All right, so now the feet are on. So feet are on. All right, and X-axis will be next week. That's going to be fun because I have not yet done I've got CNC tap to put on this one, and I have yet to do the CNC tap on my 2.4, so this will be the learning experience in installing the CNC tap. Maybe middle of the week, maybe I'll do the other one first. Haven't had a whole lot of time to be doing that, but we'll see how that works out. So let's get this flipped up, and let's see if we can get back a little bit to catch the whole thing. There we go. Kind of sort of in frame. There. So we're coming together. So I think we'll end the stream there for the day, and pick up with the X-axis next week. I will again try to get the stream scheduled the day before, or maybe a few days before this week, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody for watching. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks everybody.